and welcome back to the Red Room and the second session in our quest to create music like a pro on a budget. Today we're going to be looking at the songwriting and recording process, and to do that effectively I'm going to write an actual song right here and right now. So fingers crossed it's a beauty and not a heap of absolute shite. So, in a busy working day, why can you find time to write music? Personally, my days are packed full of life's requirements. I have a day job, I go to the gym, I walk my dogs, blah 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 blah, and yet I was able to record 7 albums in 2024. So how in the bejesus did you manage to do that, Michael, I hear you ask? Well, friends, for most people, a day's life starts around 7 AM, which I think has already left you with a missed opportunity. For the duration of 2024, I was up at 5:30 AM in the studio, writing and recording, which gave me about 2 hours before the day even starts. Now that may sound horrific to some of you, but it's really not as bad as it sounds. Besides, on numerous occasions, I've woken up with like a song in my head that's come to me in a dream, and I've been able to rush downstairs and come into the studio and just start laying bits down. Now that doesn't sound believable, does it? Songs coming to you in dreams? Well, just go and ask Paul McCartney. I know you can't, but that's how he wrote Yesterday, one of the greatest and most covered songs of all time. It came to him in a dream. But you don't have to be an early riser. You could come into the studio or your little workspace after you've had your dinner. Why sit and watch hours and hours of shite TV when you could be away recording the next big banger? Now, 2 hours doesn't sound like much, but using my process, I produced 80 original tunes last year alone. So let's have a wee look at how I made that happen. Hands around your knees, around your heart like a disease. Right, okay, here we go. I'm going to go and open up Logic Pro, and I'm going to create, normally I'd be creating new from template, but I'm assuming that this is the first time you've come in to use Logic Pro, so I'm just going to talk a little bit about how we set up Logic Pro for use. Just click on New, and where we've got a blank canvas. And it's given us an option, because before we do anything we need to be able to create a track. So we've got some options here. I can put down a MIDI instrument, I can create a pattern, I can become a session musician, either a drummer, a bass player or a keyboard player, or I can do an audio track. See, that's a little waveform, so it'll be an audio track, and you can have that just your microphone or your line in, or you can have it set up so it's already got some guitar amps or bass amps set up for you. So just every time I come in, I want to get a beat down just to get a feel for what I'm trying to do before we even get started. So session player, drummer. I don't bother with bass player and keyboard player because I can do both of those things, and I don't want robots doing it for me. So I'm going to pick drummer here because I want to get a basic beat down so that I can start playing some instruments and get some ideas over the top of it. So here we go, pick a drummer. So what it automatically does is it gives me a section here, and if I click on that you can see all of the details below. So this is your kick drums down here, and then you've got snare, so it's going doof daff doof doof daff, and then you just hit the space bar or play button up here, but space bar is the most obvious thing to hit. And it will just play away. So yeah, and then you can just keep hitting this little plus symbol, boom, and it's the same. Now I don't know what other digital audio workstations or DAWs are like. I only use Logic Pro. I imagine they're all pretty similar. Their own AI instruments might be a little bit different, but the basic concept is the same because they've all been built on recording studios. So the interaction is a digital version of an actual analog recording studio with a mixing desk and everything. So they should all be fairly similar. If I go into Window here, I can open up my mixer. That's my mixing desk with all my faders that slide up and down. That's the volume. Put it back to 0. And then there's various effects that you can add on. Here's the channel EQ, so this is already preset for those drums, so I'm not going to touch that. And then you can add in various other things. You can go and add delay and reverb, pitch correction, all of the things that you can do. So multiple channels, if I go and pick delay designer, for example, I can then go and pick another thing, so you can keep on building those up and add as many effects as you want to that one track. So that's one track here. I'll talk more about the AI drummer in a little while. First things first, I want to go in and talk about this little bit up here. So it's showing you some information. It's showing you the current time. So if I scroll along here, that's the seconds, so 12 seconds along. And we can see our tempo is 130. So if I hit play, and then I'll start adjusting it. So that's a lot slower. That's what your tempo is doing there. Song I'm wanting to work on is probably going to be, I think, around the 110 mark. You've also got your time signature. So 3/4, that's a waltz. That's boom tap tap, boom tap tap. I'll just cancel that and keep it on 4/4, which is just a doof daff, doof doof daff. That's pretty standard for the majority of music that gets made these days. And you can actually create sections of your song. So I can do the first part in 3/4, the next part in 4/4, the next part in 6/8 if I wanted to. But we can talk about that later, or go and find some YouTube videos that discuss how you do that. I'm more interested in the songwriting process. So once we've got that set up, this is in the custom setting. You can go and apply those defaults so that it comes up every time with those options. Also, if I was to right click on this empty area here, it allows me to go and customize the control bar and display. So I can go, and that display there is, I've turned off the things I don't want. So I've kept my time in my beats, my positions, my tempo, my time signature, and my performance meter, which is the thing in here. I don't know if you can see, but it says CPU, and when it's playing, there's a wee grey bit comes up. This is basically the impact on your RAM, your central processing unit. And if it gets too strenuous for it, if your RAM's not enough to handle what you're trying to do, you'll see it coming up in red. So it's just a little indicator to say how your memory performance is doing. I've also got this set up so that I've got, by default, under these modes and functions, software monitoring and low latency recording mode. Now these are things you can switch on and off. You can see them here. The low latency mode, what that's doing is, because things can have, as you add effects, can have an impact on your RAM, low latency mode will kind of limit what's being played back to you as you're trying to record. Because if there's too much stress on your RAM, you get a little delay. It takes longer to process what you sing or play on your guitar to go round the loop through the processor and play back through your speakers or your headphones. So it can have like a second delay on it, and it's impossible to try and sing when you're hearing yourself a second later. So to counteract that, the low latency mode will just switch off everything you don't need whilst you're recording, and that will eliminate any lag that you have. So that's a very key one to have on whenever you're laying down audio track. And also software monitoring, that's going to allow you to hear some effects coming back as you're playing, which will add just a little bit more mood to what you're hearing in your headphones. So yeah, I would have those two things switched on when I'm recording, and then I turn them off when I'm not recording, because then when I'm playing back, I'll hear everything that I need to hear. Getting your tempo right first time is hugely important, because once you've laid down audio tracks, you know, an actual wave, it's very hard later on, if you've decided to change your tempo, to fix the song, because you've then got to go back and try and compress all of your audio files into this new tempo. So you're better off getting your tempo right. So just, you know, hit the play bar and jam along, play the guitar or the piano or whatever along with it. If it's a dance track you're doing, get up and dance. Actually, get off your arse out the seat and dance along with it, and see what it's going to be like for the consumers of your music. If you're writing a jumpy rock song, go and jump around your room to the beat, because if it's too slow, jumping's awkward. You've got to jump, stop, jump. Jumping is something you go boing, 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 so you need the beat to be doing a certain thing, and if it's too fast, you can't jump to it. So yeah, go and see what it's like, actually experience the beat. Very, very key to get that all right before you start. So, looking at tracks, we can create as many tracks as we want. So I'll go and add another one. Right, let's maybe add a software instrument. So that means I'll be able to go and play stuff on my MIDI piano, and I might just set it up to play piano, grandma's piano. That'll be an upright, tinkly, chinkly piano, or a concert grand, a grand piano. And then I can go and add tracks. So let's put in some audio files for guitars and bass, etc. If you pick guitar or bass, it's going to come up automatically with some presets. So here you've got an option here for amp. So I've got this track selected and it's showing me the filters I've got on this particular track. Right now it's called Brit and Clean. I can go and choose, you know, some other options in here: Logic, electric guitar, complete rigs, metal, 80s metal. So now this is called 80s metal, and you can go and pick some different sounds, and you'll see the pedal board here. There's the pedals, and you can go and pick pedals and drag them on. And you know, if you don't want it, just grab it and drag it away. And then you can go and muck around with these. So this is a vintage drive pedal. You can go and switch it on and off. You can increase the levels, the tones and the drive, just like you would a normal foot switch. And you've got the amps as well in here. So I'll go and choose an amp. Here's a nice metal looking amp. And you can go and muck about with, it's just an amp head. You can also go and muck around with the microphone placement, you know, so choose what kind of what kind of microphone you're using in front of it. So you can go and muck about with that. You can increase the output and loads of things you can do here, just to play around with your settings. Change the actual amp head and the cabinet. You know, that's a 4x12, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 12-inch speakers. Or I can go and change it to a 2x12 stadium, etc. So you can go and have a lot of fun and find some different sounds. This is really for people who are not using any guitar emulators on the way in. I don't bother with these. I don't think they sound as good as your average amp emulator, such as a Line 6 Pro. I use a Kemper. So I'll be adjusting all my guitar sounds and everything through that, so that what comes into Logic Pro, into this track, will just be what I've set up in my Kemper, and I won't bother with any of this stuff. So what I'll do is, just now I'm going to go and delete that track and add a new one and just make it a straight mic or line in audio. Once you've got your tracks in, you want to name them. So start off with a short name. So I'm going to call this Git L, which is guitar left. And the reason you keep those names short is that when you go into your mixing desk, it makes sense. Git L. If I was putting guitar left, it might just end up being guitar L and be truncated. You know, like their concert, that's concert grand. but I've no idea. Oh, that's Detroit Garage, but it's very hard to understand if you give it a big fancy name. So I call it Git L. Another good thing at saying that is to then go and whatever setup you've called it on your guitar emulator. So on my Kemper it's Git L, but it's called MG Fat Git. That's MG Fat Guitar. So that's a sound I've got set up. But if you look at my thing here, it still says Git L, so I can understand what it is I'm looking at. So this is just a short name for appearing here, and then a longer name so that you can remember what your setting was on your output on your guitar emulator. This button here will duplicate the track, so there's Git L. So I might just go and call this Git R, guitar right. Now what do I mean by left and right? Well, that's your panning. So what I would do on Git L is, this is the panning here, so that's left and that's right. So I want to make it left and this one right. So that's going to come out the left speaker and that's going to come out the right speaker. And for each one of these I'll do separate takes. So I'll record the guitar for this, the left one to come out the left speaker, and then I'll go back and record another track with the right. And the reason you don't want to just copy and paste and pan them right is it's kind of pointless, because that's not what would happen in a live or studio experience. You don't just duplicate a track, because it's just going to sound exactly the same. The waveforms for them are going to be exactly the same, and you're not going to have the nuances that create phase and all those interesting things that create the balance in the song. So do separate takes for everything that you do, even backing vocals, or your bass guitar. If you're going to double things up, always do 2 tracks. So I would go and set up my Git left guitar, and then I may have like different settings. So for my guitars I tend to do 4 layers. So I'm going to duplicate this again. The first 2 layers I keep about 35. So it's kind of halfway panned left and right. And these 2 here are going to be a bit more bassy. And these 2 are going to be a bit more trebly. So I want to name this to suit. So I'll call it low for bass. That's a low bassy tone. And then for this will be Git L, and I'll call it high. High trebly. High. There we go. And that gives us a much bigger sound. It also means, and I've heard people do this, is create 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 layers of guitar, which is just an absolute waste of time, because this setup will give you that full sound that you need without adding any more layers. You never need, or never really need more than 4. Sometimes I'll add a 5th one, which would be guitar M for middle, and I'll keep that right in the middle here, and then I'll maybe take the volume of it down just so I've got a little bit of presence dead center, but I don't do that every time. Also for your guitars, the levels, I'm going to stick them down here about 15 to start with, and the ones that are panned hard left and hard right, I'm going to keep them a little bit higher than the ones in the middle, and that will become obvious once you start to hear it back through your speakers. It just makes the panning and the wall of sound even better. Yeah, so that's for people interested in initial kind of guitar mixing. So let's go ahead and do something. Now, I was working on some stuff at the weekend, so I had about 30 minutes spare time. So I went and set up my drums. So I came in here and I said, all right, well, I want to manually create a beat. So I want it to go doof, daf, doof, doof, dap. So doof, dap, doof, doof, dap. So that's the kick drum, that's the snare, doof, daf, doof, doof, dap. I might want to go and change the cymbal that's being played. So this is the hi-hat. I can go and tell that to play the hi-hat as wide open or closed or half open. I can go and change that to be a cymbal. So that's like my ride cymbal. I can have it as the bell, so that's hitting dead center of your ride, the cap on it, the bell part. Or ride crashed when you're hitting the very outside of it and making it very splashy. Or I can go and set it to toms, so that's going to play my floor toms, and you can go and say whether you want to play your toms mid, high or tom. So tom is the very high drums, and as you go down into your low toms here. If you've got it on automatic, it will just do what the song needs. The AI engine will kind of work out what the song's doing and suggest something. You can go and override absolutely everything with the AI drummer. But yeah, so that's me. I've gone and set up that section there, and then I can either copy and paste that. So if I move this to here, I can go and hit the yellow and it will just copy the same settings that are in here. Whereas this one, I might want to go and put the ride cymbal on. So it's going to do the first two. That's with the floor tom. This one could be with the hi-hat, and then this one can be with the ride cymbals. So I've got a little bit of a structure starting, and I just want to go and jam along with that, and that's where again when I'll set my tempo. Music is all about mood, and it's going to be about whatever you're in the mood to do now. If you try and plan in advance, you'll invariably find yourself moving away from what you thought you wanted to do 2 days ago and changing to what you're in the mood to do now. So once you've started, if you can, keep at it. Try and finish your ideas that day, because when you try and pick it up later, your moods will have shifted. That being said, it's not a bad idea to capture your ideas if you're out and about or you simply don't have the time to sit down and write the whole thing. I was happily driving along a road one day when a tune popped into my head. I was just driving along and humming, and I thought, oh, this is good. So I pulled over, got my phone out and opened up voice memos and recorded this. Gonna fly like a rocket around you, fly to the moon, capture the stars, and bring them back home to you. And when I got home a couple of hours later, it was this. I'm gonna fly like a rocket out to the moon, pick me some stars, and bring them back home to you. Go to the sun, grab me a beam just for you. Okay, so I've got a little song idea. With your tongue, your radar, make you roll. That's it. Yeah, it's nice to just try and capture these and also get to see what it is that I'm playing. And then for the bridge part, I also had a little idea around this. So right now I've put down some beats, got it on loop, and I'm just going to start jamming along with it just to get the tempo right. might try it a lot faster. So here's that 104, and just see if faster is better. If not, I'll pull it back, because I think like around the 94 mark is probably about right for this riff. For me, that feels just a little bit rushed, but maybe 98 is probably going to be better for us. So yeah, 98 I think is the right beat. I'm starting to get some vocal melodies in my head, so you can hear it just like, you start mucking around with it. Things just leap into the song. La 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 la, la 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 la, la la. So, you know, something you could, like, that's something melodic for the chorus, because that you could play that in an acoustic guitar as a country song and it'd still work. And you'll notice there's no lyrics in here at the moment. This is just me scatting over the top of the riff. Oh, in your silence I know, be your pride and in your own, beating, free long road, give me something I don't know. Up into a place, build out of the darkness into a sort of lighter bit, and you know that might end up being the topic of the song. Darkness into the light. It's cliched as fuck, but and it won't be. I'm not going to write that because I know my mate Craig would just go darkness into the light. It's too cheesy. You've got to get deeper, much deeper than that. So what the fuck's my hair doing? Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, and it's at this point when you're starting to kind of scat lyrics, you're just making up anything. That's something in your subconscious level, I think, tends to leap to the front when you're trying to lay down those ideas, you know. So I find myself there'll be some key words that are probably something to do with what's happening in my life or something I'm thinking deeply about on a subconscious level, and they'll just surface. So, go in your silence. So I keep going back to the word silence. That seems to be popping up. Now, if I sat and thought about it for ages, I'd probably try and work out why the word silence is popping out, but it's just come at the front, so there might be something to do with silence in the song, and we'll wait and see what happens as the song progresses. Hiding place. That just kind of flowed out there. So something about silence, something about hiding, a hiding place. Like I'll be a place you escape to. I'm a good friend for somebody, perhaps. They'll come to me and sit and they don't have to say anything, or they could chat all night. It's maybe a song about just being there for your pals. What a nice sentiment that is, to write a song about. That's probably what this song's going to be about, because that's just what was formulating in my head as I'm singing. And that's that spur, that little spark. That's where that stuff comes from. The subconscious stuff. Latch on to the little subconscious things you're thinking about, if you don't already have a song idea in your head. Like when I wrote Rockets, for example, you don't just sit and rockets. You're not sitting thinking about rockets as in the back of your head. That's a topic. It's not a mood. So you're like, I want to write a song about rockets, and then What's Rockets going to be about? Ah, it's about your love for somebody. I'm going to take you to heaven and back. You know. So now I've just gone and grabbed my bass, and I'm going to plug it in, tune up. Always tune up before every single track you lay down. Right, all good. Headphones on, just because I always like to hear it through the cans as I'm laying it down. So that's it. And I'm going to put it on to Punchy, which is my usual bass sound that I've got set up on my Kemper. Guitar pick, and I'm going to swap it for my bass pick. Yeah, the performance wasn't the best there, but straight away the bass parts were like coming right to me. So the embryo of the song is out there now. This is the really exciting part. I've got some nice little riffs going on, there's a bit of a melody there, and hopefully this is going to blossom into a wee cracker of a tune. Okay, so we are going to record some more guitar. So this is the stuff I did at the weekend. Here you can see I've got my drums laid down. I've gone and set up a bit of a groove that I've tailored to fit into this guitar part that I've played. So this is my guitar left, this is the deep version, this is the light version, MG Fat Git, and I'm going to go and record the second part now. So this is what I'd come up with. Now, it's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination yet. This is all guide stuff I want to get down. So now I want to go and play along with that. So I've got this track that I want to record onto set. It's on R for record, and then I'll just hit the record button and start playing. And press pause. Now, see this yellow bar across the top? That's the active part of the song. Now, you can click on that to deselect it and grey it out. If you've got an active part of a song and you're recording, what it will do is we'll record as a loop. Meaning that when you get to the end of here, it will automatically jump back to the start. So if I just play it from here, jumps back to the start. So when you're recording, That's normally for like playback. If you're recording, it will start, when it gets to the end, it will jump back to the start and keep recording. So it might record over the bits you've just done. So you want to avoid that. I made a bit of a mistake there by leaving it on, so I had to very quickly press pause. So normally keep that turned off when you're recording, unless you're wanting to punch in and do lots of takes of one particular bit. You'll notice I've got my latency and software monitoring on here as I'm recording. But yeah, so there's 2 tracks down. It's already starting to fill up. So you've got panned half left, half right, and now going to go and do the outside ones. Now, what I'll do is I'll change my pickups. So I've got my Brian May Red Special here, and I've got a very simple setup where I change this pickup and this one. That's your 3 pickups. That's top, middle, bottom, and then you've got like, you can switch the phasing on them. So that one there and that one there, which means I can just go dink or dink, nice and easily. So you hear the difference in sound. One's a lot brighter, and it's the brighter one that I'm going to use. It's the far left and far right, and the less bright one is going to be the stuff in the middle, and that's what helps give you this lovely full sound. So with that setting, I'm going to go back and do track 3, and I've noticed that my click track was a little bit quiet as I came in there, so I'm going to metronome settings and turn the volume up on my metronome. And I don't actually want the metronome playing, well actually yeah, I'm going to keep it on for the song. Metronome's good, your click track, tick, 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 to keep your beat, especially if you've got a song that has no drums, it really helps. That one there, 1, 2, 3, 4, that's your intro, that's your counting. So it's going to play tap, 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 and then you start recording. And you can set that to be 1 bar, 2 bars, that'll be 8 beats, 3 bars, 12 beats, and so on. And you can adjust the time signature of that as well, which I've never done. Here we go, so hit record. Oops, see what I've done there? I had the wrong track selected, so it started to record over the one I just did. Fatal mistake, which I didn't do on purpose as an example. So I just Command Z that. See how we've got the flashing red light R? I don't want to be recording on that track. I normally have this set up so when I just click straight on this, it will automatically select R. But I'm having to do it manually here, so I need to actually go and look at my settings and find out how to change that. Because I like to just click on this and say that's the one I'm working on. But no, it remembers which one you were recording on here. So make sure your flashing R is there. Let's try that again. Oops, now I've messed up, but what I can do is just go and start from here. So that's the next section here, the bridge part. I'm just going to go and clip that, Command T, and that's broken this into 2 bits, and I can go and delete that bit, and then I'll be able to just hit record, and it will count in 4 like it did at the start and allow me to just drop in. Okay, so that's just got 3 down. Let's go, and with the same setting as I had on that one, R to record. I've got my pickup set to the more trebly one, and I'll go and lay down the 4th track, and then we'll take a listen to how that all sounds together. Hey, okay, so I've moved on a tiny little bit since the last section. What I've done is I've moved our original recording, which was this part. I've moved it right over to here, and I then created a lot more space in here to go and muck around with other bits. I copied and pasted the whole thing, so just Option, click, and drag. So I did that. And then what I've done is I've gone and deleted the guitar parts and left just the bass and drums. So that's what you're seeing here. Deleted the bass and drums and left this wide open so I can go and play around with kind of other guitar sounds. Because like I said earlier, we want the song to build. We don't want the verse doing the same thing. The chorus is going to have things added to it as we go on. So now what I've got is a tiny little drum fill that I've created here in the start. Then we've got the empty verse. Then we've got the same bridge and chorus that we have here. This is again just for structural purposes, so we'll go back and muck around with those things as we progress, but this is just to get us the first couple of steps up the ladder to having a fully complete song. And then I've got this bit clipped so that it kind of ends on a smash, and then it goes into a drum beat, and then there's a bit of a drum fill here that I've created just by chopping this bit in half and then increasing the drum fills on that one section. Then there's a tiny little gap, a little hang, and then it goes into the full verse. So let's just take a little listen to that. I've got my active part of the song selected up here, the yellow bit, and when I hit spacebar it's just going to start playing from a couple of beats before the drum fill. So let's take a listen. That's the verse with all the guitars in it. So you can see that just by copying and pasting bits, we start to build out the structure of our song. So, you know, I could then go and just increase the length of my, I could then go and repeat that whole thing, Option, click, drag, and I can build out the structure of my song that way. So I could say, right, here's an intro part. There might be something before here, probably will be some sort of atmospheric thing leading into it, or some other effect or fill or whatever, or maybe an acoustic guitar part. Empty verse, bridge and chorus. I'll probably strip away some of this part here and replace that with something else. Then I've got an empty bit here, and I've got something in mind for what I might do there. Then the full verse, bridge, chorus. And then another break. There might not be another break there because I don't want to just repeat that, but for structural purposes I'm going to leave it in for the time being. I then think I'm probably going to have a guitar solo, and I'll probably put the guitar solo over the chorus. So what I'm doing right there is I've just deleted the verse part, and I'm going to go and see how I've got my, right now the chorus part is in here. So this is the chorus part, this is the bridge part, that's the chorus bass, that's the bridge bass. What I want to do is split these tracks up, these 3 tracks. So I'm just going to go here, hit Command T. Now I can go and pick up my chorus and just Option click and drag it over to here. My chorus has a little break at the end of it, that's why there's a gap. But what I might do is I might come through here and put a guitar solo over the chorus part, and then, you know, I might go into something else after that. Then I might repeat the chorus twice at the end, and then I might have a little outro part here. Hey, so we're going to start working on some lyrics for this song. So again, I think I wanted it to be something about being there for your mates when they're in troubled times. So let's see what we come up with. Alright, something about them being in a dark place. But don't do the cliche, don't the darkness into the light. There's rock cliches that you need to avoid. Darkness into light, my baby, lonesome roads, and all those kind of cheesy things. And just avoid that stuff like the plague. So we need to come up with something that's going to work for this that isn't cheesy as fuck. So, in the dark you will find. In the dark you may find there's a reason to move on. In the dark you may find there's a reason to move on. In the dark you may find there's a reason to go on. Let's put it down. In the dark, no alternative to find but the worst outcome. So I'm saying, in the dark you may find there's a reason to go on, no alternative to find but the worst outcome. Yeah, that's kind of meaning in dark times and there's no reason to go on, you might just and the bridge should be almost like a literal bridge that they're standing on, ready to jump, and you kind of call them back at the last minute and say, wait, whoa. There's ways out of this. Now I tend to find before we move on to the bridge, get those vocals recorded. Because as you're singing it and it's coming into your head, and you've gone through it a couple of times, you start to go, you know, when I was finding little spikes and stuff in the melody, there's no alternative to find. I need to remember that that's what I want to do. If I go and work on the bridge, I might forget that. So get it down. This process is all about writing songs in chunks. Get the best out of the bit you're working on. Guitars, bass, get it all down, make it sound awesome. So when you're singing over it, it really pulls you into the song. Then do the lyrics and the melody for the one bit you're working on. Get the song written in chunks. So, okay, let's go and put some vocals in them. In the dark you may find there's no reason to go on. No alternative to find but the worst outcome. And then we'll go and double track it. So this is basically singing the same thing you've just sung on another vocal track. So you've got 2 takes of it and it really fattens out the sound. Sometimes, like in a chorus, for the main lead vocals, you can do 3, 4 takes and it really fills it up. It gives it a sort of gang vocal kind of feel. Then by the time you've added in all your backing vocals, the song can sound huge. Also, sometimes your double track can sound better than your original, because every time you sing, your voice is kind of warming up the whole time. Sometimes by the 3rd or the 4th take, your voice is sounding really good. Some people can just come in and first take, and sound incredible. Other people have to warm up to it. Your throat is just a bunch of muscles. It does take time to warm up. So yeah, 3 or 4 takes. Sing it a couple of times before you actually record it. This that I'm doing just now is just all guide vocals. So it's getting down to help us build out the structure. And I'll probably later on, when my voice is really warm, go back and do the full take. Unless this one's really good, and I'll just keep it. Okay, so now we've got to come up with a bit for the bridge. Just pop my amp back on so I can hear it and sing along with it. That's another thing. When you're recording your vocals, make sure that your speakers are turned off, because you don't want your microphone picking up anything playing back from your speakers. So make sure those are turned off. So right now I'm just coming up with something for the bridge. Now this is normally a lot quicker, but I'm videographing everything, so this process is now moved into like 3 or 4 days. But this was normally, from what you saw as the start, opening up from an existing template, coming in, starting to write and record. By the time I get to laying down this kind of first bit of vocals, that's probably only been about half an hour, 40 minutes. I can leave you well alone if you want me to. Quite like that. But I'm here for you, my friends. I can leave you well alone if you want me to. But I'm here for you, my friends. I'm gonna be. Hold on tight. Hold on tight. I have got your back again. Hold on tight, I have got your back again. I won't let you fall. I won't let you fall. Let's hear how that sounds. Hold on tight. I have got your back again. I won't let you fall. When all hope is gone, I've got you. And then I think the next line, I got you. Na na na. So it could be, I got you. Banana. 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 Let's call it banana. Funny enough, yesterday, remember I was saying earlier about Paul McCartney? Yesterday was originally entitled Scrambled Eggs. That was his working title. Scrambled Eggs, doobie 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 doo. Hilarious. So yeah, let's call it banana. Right, yeah, so I think there's a word, the title of the song, the thing I'm going to write at the top here, because it's blank at the moment because I've not come up with the title of the song, and the song's just called First of 2025 because it's the first song I've written this year. Let's say the word is completely. The song will be called Completely. So I need a word that fits in that gap, that encompasses everything we're talking about here. So hold on tight, I have got your back again. I won't let you fall when all hope is gone. I got you, your wingman. Makes it kind of gender specific though. What the fuck could it be? I got you. Sometimes it helps just to jump on Tinternet and bring up a thesaurus, or thesiosaurus as I like to call them. There is thesaurus.com, I accept, and you put in a phrase, wingman, refuge, cover, asylum, sanctuary, shelter. When all hope is gone, I got you. in shelter. I got you in my asylum. Yeah, because it could be in something. I can just de-emphasize that. I got you in my asylum. When all hope is gone, I got you in my arms. In my arms? What? Let's hear what that sounds like. In my arms. The song could just be called In My Arms. Hold on tight, I have got you back again. I won't let you fall. When all hope is gone, I got you in my arms. Yes, in my arms. There we fucking go. In my arms. That's how we do it. That's what the song's called. In my arms. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how we do that. So I'm going to go down and sing the bridge part and the chorus. Hold on tight, I've got you back again. I won't let you fall. When all hope is gone, I got you in my arms. Well, it's not perfect, but it's just guide, as I say. Once my vocals have warmed right up and I've structured the song, I'll go back and I'll do them properly. I hope. So what we're going to do now is muck about with some ideas to embellish the song and give it kind of multi-layers. So first of all, I'm going to go through and start, doing some guitar picking and just some little guitar melodies that are hopefully going to support what the vocals are doing. In the dark you may find there's no reason to go on, no alternative to find, but the worst outcome I get. So there's probably something that's going to be picky over that. So yeah, something like that. It's all about just like adding a little bit of flavour, dimension, and that stuff will be kind of set for stereo, and the delay is just going to drift off into the outside parts of your soundscape. Your soundscape is like the room in which you're making your music. So like the position of things are really important. We'll talk about this more in mixing, but it's having like your drums in the centre, and you'll have a bit of drum fill. The toms go kind of from left, right speaker. So doof, 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 doof. And then, you've got things like your bass just sitting off here, your guitar sitting out here. And these kind of soundscape things are things that kind of live in the ethereal parts of the song, kind of living in the sort of top layer where your kind of keyboards and your synths and your guitar picks and that all sits and is kind of lifted away from the dirty part of the song, the lower, grittier part. And makes it stand out and adds a lot more depth to it. So that's it, a little bit of insight into the writing and recording process that I use. The key takeaways from this being is to do your song in bite-sized chunks. Get your instruments down, get them sounding good, then muck about with melody ideas and lyrics, get those down, backing vocals, get those down, and then do the next parts of your song and start reordering them and restructuring them. I do hope this was beneficial for you. We're going to have a little bit more of this kind of thing in the next episode. We're going to be looking at the mixing process, how to make your song sound awesome and place your instruments in the right place. We're going to take a quick look at mastering your song, getting it ready for digital distribution across distributors like Spotify. In future videos, we're going to be looking at music collaborations via the BandLab website. So please, if you like what you've seen, like and subscribe down below, and I promise to keep bringing you more stuff, more tips and insights. We're also going to be looking at some of my music, doing album walkthroughs, so you can have a little bit of listen to what I've been producing, and I'll be discussing how I've actually produced some of that stuff as well. So please, everybody, have an awesome day wherever you are in the world, and I'll see you on the next episode. Take care.